When I walked into my local used game store, I didn't really have a plan as to what to buy. I was more there to browse. And for some reason, while browsing, my eye was drawn to this game, Trampoline Terror for the Sega Genesis. I wasn't quite sure what the game would be about, especially given its bland, plain-looking label. But I knew I had to take this home. I knew I had to buy this game. I wasn't quite sure what it was about, but I was positive that it was going to be the next game that I would review. You know, this is the kind of thing I love about old school retro video games, especially on the Sega Genesis. You see a game like Trampoline Terror, especially with its bland, uninteresting label that looks like it was made in MS Paint, and you just don't know what to think. What is it? Is it a horror game? The word terror would certainly implicate that it is, but the word trampoline makes it seem more like a platformer. So, let's check this out and see exactly what Trampoline Terror is. Okay, and here's the title screen. For some reason there seems to be a lot more fire on the title screen than I was expecting. Okay, even the title screen is confusing. Again, the word terror and there's fire. I'm assuming this is going to be some sort of action game, maybe a shooter. And then there's the word trampoline that just completely throws that off. Well, let's at least give the game a shot before we condemn it. Well, I figured this is going to be a long one. Cheers. Alright, I already have a couple of questions. 1. What am I doing in the air? 2. What exactly is the point of all this? And 3. Why do I look like that hamster from Shining Force? Yeah, that hamster. What the hell was the point of that hamster anyway? Apparently, Trampoline Terror is a basic puzzle game. You walk around the grid, blowing up each one of the bomb squares by walking over them. Once you blow up all of the squares, the board is cleared and you move on to the next level. I always wished I could fly just like the Japanese kids could. And that is essentially the game. You walk around each grid, blowing up the individual bomb tiles, trying to do them in colored order so that you can get a bigger score. What exactly are you waiting for? And like most puzzle games, the higher up you go, the more difficult the game becomes. To help you along the way, the game allows you to pick up what's called P-balls, which you can then use to throw at enemies. This does not kill them, more as disables them for a given amount of time. And the titular trampolines can be used to throw the P-ball long distances, jump over enemies, as well as clear gaps. Starting at around stage 7, the game starts throwing in other tiles, like ones that disappear and reappear. This forces the player to strategize more what he's doing, and it's a lot more methodical than some other puzzle-based games. The various squares that act as trampolines change color based on the amount of times you jump on them. They go from green to blue to red, and then they break, creating a hole that enemies and yourself can fall through. The trampolines can also become a huge problem in later levels, such as stage 9. Every single time I think I have it down, I just can't seem to jump over any of these gaps. Oh, come on! Cheap. How is that fair? Okay, this is my last life. Alright, and... why do you exist? Well, that's as far as I can get. You know, when I first looked at the game Trampoline Terror, with its bland, minimalist label, I couldn't help but wonder. And now that I found out exactly what this is, I can't say I'm entirely disappointed. Overall, it's a pretty decent puzzle game, and I can see where it has quite the addicting factor to it. So overall, I give Trampoline Terror an 8 out of 10. It has its problems with the jumping, to be sure, but overall, it is an enjoyable puzzle game, and it certainly is different than something like Columns or Tetris or Bejeweled. Anyway, as always, thanks for joining me. This has been another episode of Marauder's Retro Adventures, and I'll catch you guys later.